We built this as the game of the season, and I'll prove it to you, like I did on many streams over the weekend. There you go. Our prediction for this Dortmund Monchengladbach game was that it was going to be game of the season for drama, goals, VAR, yellow cards, just end to end basketball style gameplay. Do you know what? Not Frank Schmidt. Sorry, that's me just gloating. Because, sometimes you've got to find time in the day to reflect on your successes. We got this, we called this right, and I'm really pleased about that. And how did we get to that place? Well, again, we can see here, can't we? But before we do that, let's have a look at the lineups. Again, I'm not going to call it all out because you can read it with your own eyes. I suppose the most notable change was Jan Couto starting for a second time in place of Julian Ryerson. Julian Ryerson, by the way, dyed his hair again. Actually, Jan Couto's done that. In fact, a few of the Dortmund lads have kind of all dyed the hair. Is that a tribute to someone or something? It's a statement, that's for sure. Anyway, Jan Couto started. Felix Nemeka started as well in that midfield. For Dortmund, that is, for my money, pretty much the same team that played against Barcelona in that 3-1 win. Sadly, they went out on aggregate 5-3. We called that one again. I don't need to put that on the screen, but I might do in the edit just to make a point, to prove that sometimes we do actually know what we're talking about. That's the same lineup. I'm going to lock that in. As for Gladbach, Tim Kleindist up front. There was no Robin Hack, sadly, because he came on as a sub, didn't he? But he didn't start. Instead, Thomas Zvankara, that's our pronunciation, he was on the right in place of Frank Honrahat. No Frank Honrahat today. Maybe he's gone down with another injury. Hope he recovers soon. Alassane Play, the old Frenchman, on the left. Kevin Sturger in the middle. And one of our other favourite Instagram-friendly model/athletes, Rocco Wrights, was in that double pivot alongside skipper Julian Weigl. Ulrich had a good game. He's one for the future. He was subbed off later on for Luca Netz. Stefan Leimer, no relation to Konrad, although they are both Austrian. Florian Neuhaus got a game as well. And Julian Brandt came on late for Dortmund. I keep seeing rumours, by the way, for Brandt heading to Werder Bremen. I'm not sure what truth there is on that. Real Nico, if you're following this, if you are, we're impressed because I talk like a fucking bullet train and all of it's in a sort of pidgin English Northern Midlands accent. If you are watching now, or in fact, if there's any Werder Bremen fans watching, what truth is there in that rumour that Julian Brandt might be heading to the Weissstadion, sorry. Let us know down below. Anyway, what an exciting game this was. That Gladbach goal, by the way, was against the run of play. It was a brilliant finish. That striker's finish. Kao Itakara, I mean, he has scored what? He scored 2 in 3 games, so you'd think, okay, he must be an attacking midfielder. He's not. He's a fucking centre-back. In a 4-2-3-1 formation. Yeah, it was a great goal. He managed to be, usually we're really good with data. I suppose at the very least you want us to come up with assists, don't you? In which case, we can do that for you. Not listed and not attributed to anyone. After all that, what a waste of research that was. Oh, fuck it, we'll give it to Rocco Wrights then. Yeah, Rocco Wrights for the assist. Go into Cara goal. Yeah, it was a great ball. Picked him out. Pinged it 60 yards. You've seen the highlights. You don't need me to make it up, do you? Anyway, and then the basketball game kicked in because from 1-0 to Gladbach, it became 2-1 to Dortmund. Seru Girassi, what a finish that was, by the way. I should go back to this other screen because I can give you some more analysis. Yeah, Pascal Gross picked him up from the right edge of the box. He squares it. No one's marking Girassi. And actually, it was a really thumping finish. And again, this chemistry between these two, if this was an EAFC 24 or 25 version, doesn't matter. When you're picking that lineup and you're looking for chemistry between the players, well, for those of you that follow the channel, for those of you that follow Bundesliga, you'll be aware of a game a few games back. I want to say match day 25, 26 maybe. Dortmund smashed the Union Berlin wall, 6-0 at home, in a game where Pascal Gross came up with 4 assists and Serhou Guirassy scored 4 goals in the same game. Not all those were assisted by Pascal Gross, by the way. It's just a coincidence. But there's no such thing as coincidences, is there? Because I should have had one with me. What does Neo says? Or he's told, isn't he? There is no spoon. Great film, isn't it? The original Matrix. Let us know your favourite Matrix films. Let us know your favourite films in general. It doesn't have to be football all the time, does it? No. We use football as a bit of an emotional crutch. Some people drink. Some people use Mexican Coke. Some people collect stamps. Some people jump out of aeroplanes with a parachute for fun, obviously, after taking many lessons. I'm not talking about suicide bombers. Some people have vices, you know. Where's that one going? Yeah. Back to Bundesliga, eh? There's a chemistry between Pascal Gross and Guirassy. He picked his man out. Yeah, it was a bang. In fact, like, old Jonas Omlin, great to see him back after an injury. Didn't have a chance. I mean, he did dive with it because he's got muscle memory as a goalkeeper. You tend to develop that over time because of all the training that you do day in, day out with the strikers, one-on-one with other goalkeeper coaches. But he just couldn't react. It was too quick. And then that 1-1 became 2-1 pretty quick after. Karim Adeyemi, that cheeky little scamp, aren't you, trying to claim that assist? Again, it was Pascal Gross, right? The ball came into the box. It goes through Adeyemi's legs, not in a sort of Megs, just it glances his feet, right? Actually, I think it was Chuck Wemaker that put the ball in, that the ball should have ended up at. And Felix Nemeka just sort of, glides in unmarked, strokes the ball home, 2-1 Dortmund. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. And then what happened deep into injury time? Well, Daniel Svensson, again, he's got a bright future ahead of him. He's playing on the left he's more of a left wing back. He scores a gorgeous goal just before, literally on the stroke of half time to make it 3-1. And Gonzo and I were sat there talking to each other, as we do, as a male adult. I talked to a plush toy, saying, hey, our prediction might be on here. This has been a very exciting game. Second half, we come back out, 56 minutes. Kevin Sturger scores to make it 3-2 to reduce the deficit. And that's pretty much how it finished. There was a flurry of substitutions, triple on one side, triple on the other. We got to see Instagram Robin Hack come on for Thomas Svankara. Like I say, Luca Netz came on for Ulrich, and Stefan Leimer came on for the American Joe Scally, one of the fastest men in Bundesliga, by the way, Joe Scally. There's a bunch of subs as well for Dortmund, but all right, Emre Can got back on the pitch. He got some game time after injury. Again, we saw Julian Brandt and we saw Salil Ozcan. Yeah, there you go. So that game ended 3-2. And we felt smug as fuck because we predicted that. It was. Okay, it wasn't. Yeah, it was game of the season. Yeah, we're happy with that. We'll take that one. That was game of the season. What has that done, by the way, to the table? We can check that one out. So Dortmund, right, that moves them up a place into 7th. Gladbach, it pushes them down into 9th. Going into that game, it was the other way around. I suppose there's other results were going off as well that weekend. It's good for Dortmund again. They want a silent ascent. Silent sigh. That is badly drawn boy, isn't it? Daniel Goff. Yeah, I'm sure it's Daniel Goff. Somebody Goff, anyway. Not Darren. He is not from the Midlands. He is from the North. He's also a cricketer. Retired. What a great bowler he was, though. Big chesty, barrel, side-on swing bowler. Played for England in the late 90s. What a glorious period in history. Well, I'm sure there have been other... what was your favourite period in history? What are some of the favourite years that you've lived through? One of my favourite years was 1997. There you go. What about yours? Oh, also 2002. That was pretty tasty for football reasons, being closet Arsenal fans. Other exciting years that I've had: 2015. Yeah, there's 3 years. What about your favourite years? Tell us. Share your favourite years. You can either share it in the comments down below, or you can share it on Discord, where again there were only 3 rules: no religion, no politics, and please laugh with, not at, because it's a fucking horrible world out there, and we're using football as a crutch. Back on point. Right, so there's the table. Dortmund into 7th. Closer and closer to the Champions League. Where will they finish? 4 games to go. Let's have a look what Dortmund's 4 games are and make some sort of highbrow prediction as to where they might finish and how these games might impact that finish. Okay, so Dortmund are going to go into the road to Hoffenheim. It feels like an away win. We'll do proper predictions before each of the respective match days that are coming up. Feels like that's an away win. Dortmund host Wolfsburg. Well, again, Wolfsburg have... Actually, did they stop that losing streak of 4 games? We'll find out very soon. Feels like a home win. And then Dortmund-Leverkusen. Again, the title, the Meisterschale, could have already been secured by Munich. So that game could be academic. No one's chasing Leverkusen. They're second, a bit like Bullseye. And again, I know some of you are... Well, everyone's more mature, more grown up than me. We've already established that. But in terms of years being born ahead of me in the timeline of life, we'll appreciate that reference there to Bullseye. Because for Leverkusen, they're bullies and they're tankers. Well, they're safe. They're safe. Frankfurt, Mainz... No one's catching Leverkusen. They're in second. And we feel they're going to finish in second because they've done a bottle job, proving they're a one-man team. They're all about Florian Wirtz. I would love nothing more than Leverkusen fans to come here as part of this VOD and in the Discord. Not shout at me, though. Not. Well, I suppose the virtual equivalent of shouting would be writing in uppercase, wouldn't it? As in that's like the unwritten language of shouting and wagging your finger. I'd love you to come in basically and just tell me that you're not a one-man team, right? There's more to you than that. Yeah, fair enough. Prove it. Go out next year. Go and steal the trophy back. That would be good to see. I mean, technically, he's still gripping onto it now because the season's not finished. But that game with Dortmund, it could all be over. In which case, you're going to want to play for pride and lock that sucker down. And deny Dortmund. And Dortmund last games against Holstein Kiel. That could be massive. Could be massive for both teams. Not quite a sect puncture, because that's more when the two teams are in a compact position fighting for either survival, promotion, or in a title race. There's a massive fucking gap between Dortmund and Kiel. But that last game of the season could carry huge significance for next season. For Dortmund, it could decide whether they end up in the Champions League, Europa League or Conference League, and for Kiel it could mean open that trap open that trap door and see you later. Or Kiel, could they finish in 16th? Still a relegation playoff game, still high drama, still a game that you don't want to be in, but at least that trap door might have opened, but they'd still be clinging on. So that last game could be fucking massive.